Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another review of the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 6 Part Reunion Part 3. Yes, we are still in this. Something needs to be done about these 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 part reunions. It is just too much. It's too much. It's way too much. Anyways, so we start off with the whole Eddie rumor. Okay, Giselle and Wendy are going back and forth. Robin has to jump in as well because Wendy was also getting into Robin about the whole rumor thing. So I'm not going to go into the detail of what exactly they were arguing about because it's so pointless. But the bottom line is Giselle brought up the whole Eddie thing because she just wanted to make Wendy look bad. She wanted to watch Wendy squirm. She wanted to watch Wendy run around trying to defend her marriage, trying to defend her relationship with Eddie. That's all Giselle wanted. She just wanted to throw some mud at Wendy and see if it was going to stick. Luckily, no one believed the rumors, especially after watching, this particular season. We can all, I think, safely conclude that the rumors are not true. So it just makes Giselle look really mean and evil and wicked and like just a really horrible person, that you would bring something that you knew was false and you would bring it up in the guise of like you're concerned about Wendy. Why would you be concerned about Wendy if you didn't believe the rumors were true? But anyway, so she brings up these rumors on the show just to make her look bad. And Wendy did too much at the reunion. She had this huge, like 3 foot cardboard cutout, or maybe bigger, of some text messages between her and Robin, which is completely pointless. I mean, the text messages revealed nothing. They're not actual receipts of anything other than it just confirmed what they both were saying, which was that before they began filming, Robin had texted Wendy about these alleged rumors of Eddie, and Wendy was just kind of like, "Oh, that's crazy that he's got a whole kid with this other woman." Wendy kind of blew it off. Robin blew it off. I do remember seeing these pop up in the blogs before they began recording, and I was like, I would see these headlines about Wendy's husband, an alleged mistress, an alleged baby, and all this other stuff, and I was like completely shocked because he just doesn't seem like, but no one seems like the type. So when it was brought up on the show, it ended up being like a non-issue because it came from a disreputable blog. It seems like nobody believed it. So it just seemed a little bit crazy because what made it very unbelievable even more is the fact that Giselle herself kept on saying, I knew there was no truth in it. I knew there was no truth in it. So, like, why even bring it up? It would have been different if Giselle was like, well, these are the rumors out there. I don't know if they're true or not, but this is what the blogs were saying. But she didn't even bring it up like that. She brought it up as in, I know they're not true, but this is what the blogs are saying. I don't believe it, but this is what the blogs are saying. So it just seemed like you're being messy. Wendy went too far with the cardboard cutout, with the receipts of the telephone calls of when she spoke to Giselle and how long they talked on the phone that day. It was also pointless. Even Andy was like, you don't even need to do this. This is not necessary. It really wasn't. Whatever. Giselle, you look bad. The only thing that could redeem Giselle in the slightest bit is if the rumors end up being true. If this alleged mistress comes out with the baby and positive DNA results. If that doesn't happen, Giselle, you're going to go down in history as being like one of the messiest, most evil, most wicked people on these reality TV shows for bringing up something so trashy and so disreputable just to make another woman look bad, just to throw mud at her relationship because you come off looking a little bit jealous that she's got a real marriage, a real husband, and you're out there paying your ex-husband, your philandering ex-husband to come on the show to play like to be your pretend boyfriend, your play boyfriend on the show, just for you to have a storyline, just for you to kind of feel included like everybody else that you got something going on in your romantic life, which doesn't exist. Moving on to Robin. So the whole COVID thing really hit Robin hard. Oh, no, let me go back to Wendy. Mia said to Wendy, well, if it's not true, why are you defending it so hard? And Wendy was like, I'm always going to defend my family. I'm always going to defend my family if someone's going to make them look bad or put them in a bad light. That's just who she is. Okay, fine, moving on. So Robin, she did go through a really serious depression during COVID. It was serious. And she said that she also has seasonal depression. And that whole segment about Robin, I always feel sorry for Robin. I don't know why. I always feel sorry for Robin. Well, let's talk about the positive things first. Her hat line is taken off. I never thought it would, but her hat line is evidently, taken off. I don't know if she's a billionaire off of this hat line or what's going on, but she's making a lot of money. She was able to pay off her taxes. She was able to put down a down payment on her home strictly from the hat money. So the hat money has been good to Robin. Good for her, and congratulations on that. Now, there was a scene during the season when she was going through this, whole COVID thing. Not COVID thing. She was going through like a COVID depression or quarantine depression because she wasn't getting out of bed. She wasn't taking care of her business. All these retailers were sending her emails, wanting to buy her product, but she didn't even respond to them. And Andy even said that it broke his heart that, she wasn't even responding to these emails that were offering her these really great business opportunities. Well, as far as that goes, Robin said that it wasn't going to be lucrative for her to put her hats in a TJ Maxx or I think it just said Macy's. It wasn't going to be profitable for her. She would have to upcharge her hats to a certain point, and she didn't want to do that. It was better to keep her hats, I guess, at a reasonable price and sell them online and, keep more of the profit. I'm assuming that's what she was trying to say. I have no business sense, so I don't know if that's even true, but I think that's what she was trying to say. And so then they brought up the comment that Juan had made during the season when she was in bed and he comes in there to wake her up because she wasn't even up to get the boys ready for school, and he had told her that her laziness was really unattractive. Now, when I saw that scene, I thought it was really, really bad. I thought that Juan was just out of line for saying that. Juan gets away with a lot. I don't know if it's because, people think he's so cute, or if Robin is just so head over heels in love with this man. I don't know. But I feel like he kind of gets away with a lot. There are moments when, I can see Juan as being very, very likable. But then there are moments when I think that, oh, this is not good. So when he said to her, your laziness is unattractive, I thought there was just a better way of saying that to your wife who is doing so much already. She's not like your typical sitting at home watching TV, eating bonbons kind of housewife. She's a go-getter type of woman. So when he said that, I thought that, Juan, you could have chosen better words. He could have just said to her, you know what, I've noticed that you're in bed a lot, that, you're not the same Robin, you don't have the same energy. I just want to know what's going on. So I'm just checking in on you to make sure everything is okay. Instead of your laziness is unattractive, as if, he's trying to tell her, I find you unattractive. And I was just like, that is not what a common law husband is supposed to say to his common law wife like that. And y'all been through so much together, so much. I just thought that was uncalled for. But she made excuses for him. She said, yo, Juan, he's so used to me being, the one that gets everybody together, that keeps the family going. I'm involved in a whole bunch of stuff. I have a lot of energy. So when he saw me laying around all day long, he didn't understand, or he didn't know where that was coming from. That's fine. Okay. I get it. He didn't know where it was coming from. He didn't understand. But when you speak words, you have to speak words that are not going to cut someone down to the core. And of course, Robin, she just completely blew it off. Robin is the kind of person like where I don't know if when he said that to her, she didn't even react. Because I think I would have been like, excuse me, my what's on it? What? Okay, you find me unattractive. Okay, keep that same energy. Keep that same energy. But Robin just seems like she just was like, oh yeah, yeah. I don't know, like she's just like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Like, do you not understand that Juan just insulted you? But anyways, so she just kind of blew it off like it was no big deal to her. And then they asked about when are y'all getting married? And she said they will get married eventually. Why? There was nothing wrong with whatever situation or arrangement that y'all had going on. Y'all were living together as a divorced couple who were trying to came back together again. That was fine. There was no need to go through this whole, oh, you're going to get married, you're going to get engaged. And then I don't know if they felt pressured by other people to get engaged because then that's just going to open up a door for a different type of pressure of getting married, and no one will ever stop asking this question, and this will always be a topic of conversation. And if you don't like it, why did you even get engaged? I don't understand this at all. So she said they're going to get married eventually. So then they move on to the husbands. The husbands come out, and Juan was not there and Michael was not there. Shocking, right? So Juan wasn't there, and it makes me wonder if he didn't show up because he thought Michael might be there, and I wonder if Michael didn't show up because he thought Juan would not be there, so he didn't even bother coming. But they asked Robin, how do you feel about the fact that Juan is always, leaving you alone whenever you show up for these events on the show and the reunions? He's never here, blah, blah, blah. And she said that, well, he's a basketball coach, and basketball is so demanding that he doesn't have time to do anything else. And I can tell that Wendy kind of doubted this because Wendy was like, well, is it basketball season all year round? And then Chris Bassett, he was nodding his head so hard in agreement with Robin that I thought his head was going to fall off his shoulder. He was just like, yes, yes, yes. Basketball season is, very demanding. Yes, coaches don't have time for anything. Yes, yes, yes. He doesn't have time for any of this stuff. And I'm just like, Chris, are you trying to gain brownie points from Juan? Is Juan like the cool kid on campus that all these men feel the need they have to be friends with him? I don't get it. But he only has eyes for Michael, y'all. Okay, so Miss Dorothy calls Candace's mom. So she calls, and of course, it was planned that she was going to call right at this moment when Chris was on stage. So Candace gives the phone to Andy, and they put her on speakerphone. And Andy asked her, so how did you feel about the way you acted at Candace's video shoot? Do you feel like you were in the wrong in any way? And Miss Dorothy was like, well, I was just answering the questions that were given to me. And then Andy asked her, are you going to apologize to Chris for how you acted that day? And she says, yes, she's going to apologize to Chris. But it didn't sound convincing at all. I don't think Miss Dorothy thinks that she's ever done anything wrong in her life. And Chris was like, if she apologizes, fine. If she doesn't, fine. I really don't care. Now they move on to Gordon. So they talked about Gordon, and they showed the clip of him bothering Ashley on the bus. He was like teasing her and making fun of her or something on the bus while she was trying to take a nap. And they asked Ashley, okay, you got on Gordon's case for being, I guess, what's the word? They said that, for him being like a little bit too flirty with the women, a little bit too overly sexual with the women. You got on his case about that, but you didn't get on Michael's case. And then Ashley, put her foot in it. She opened the door wide open. She said, well, let's rewind that. From what I can recall, Michael has never been sexually overt with any of the women in this group. And then Andy said, but he did say he wanted to give fellatio to Juan. And then on top of that, they showed a clip of Michael grabbing some man's butt on the dance floor. So what are you talking about, Ashley? What do you have to say to that? And I don't know what she responded to that because I was just like, wow, Ashley, whatever you say is not going to be enough and it's not going to be good. Gordon ended up apologizing to Ashley for how he treated her on the bus, and Ashley was, genuinely surprised, and she did appreciate the apology. So I'm glad that they're moving on from that. Robin said that Juan was okay. We talked about that. How Juan is just too busy coaching. That's why he can't show up to anything. He must be making a whole lot of money coaching for you to be spending this much time away from your family, whatever. Okay, Mia's comments about Chris. Okay, I'm not gonna go into too much detail about that. They got on Mia's case about what she said about Chris tossing her salad. Whatever she posted, like at some point Chris was tossing her salad. She made it seem as if Chris and her had met before, but I never thought that. When I read that, I didn't think that at all. Like she was implying, if she was implying that, I didn't believe it. But she admitted that no, me and Chris don't know each other, and he's never tossed my salad. And then they talked about Eddie, her comments about how Eddie wouldn't even make eye contact with her when the question was asked of him, what woman in this group do you find attractive? I guess we were playing some type of a game, and they asked Eddie, what woman in this group do you find attractive? And he said nobody, of course, because his wife would have. And Mia was like, "Oh, he can't even make eye contact with me," as if to imply that, Eddie found her attractive. So, Wendy, she took care of all that. She got into Wendy. She got into Mia real good with that. And then they asked Eddie, "What do you think about the rumors that Giselle had brought up on the show about you having this alleged affair?" And Eddie said that it was just said with complete disregard to my children. And you can tell that Giselle just wanted to just disappear into the ground. She felt so bad. You could see the guilt all over her face. And they asked Giselle, "Do you want to add anything to this?" And she was like, "No, we've already addressed it." And then Andy asked her, "Are you going to apologize for what you said?" And she was like, "Nope, I didn't say anything wrong because I told them that I didn't believe the rumor." And I'm like, "Okay, Giselle, once again, the point is not whether you believed it or not. The point is that you brought something up that was inflammatory and that could have possibly brought problems to Wendy and Eddie's marriage. And you only did it to make her look bad. And you only did it because you don't like her. And you only did it because you wanted to see her squirm and you wanted to see her running around like a crazy person, trying to defend her husband's character and trying to defend her marriage. That's the reason why you did it. You could care less if it was true or not. You just wanted to destroy another woman's marriage because you have no marriage of your own. So, Giselle, stop acting like you're dumb. We know you didn't believe it. That's why you should not have brought it up. The fact that you didn't believe it made it even worse that you would bring it up. Because if you felt like there was any truth in it and you were really concerned about Wendy, maybe you can kind of justify why you brought it up on the show. But you yourself didn't believe it and you yourself do not like Wendy. So obviously you brought it up just to put her down, just to make her look bad, just to make her husband look bad. Anyways, Karen. So Karen, okay, she's still the ambassador of Surrey County. That's wonderful. That's great. And then they talked about, did she feel as if did she do her wedding vow renewal because there was no wedding for Robin? And Karen said, my wedding vow renewal had nothing to do with Robin. Then the question did come up of when Robin would get married to Juan, when they were gonna have they set a date, or they're gonna get married, when they're gonna get married, and she said that they would get married eventually. Did I already talk about this? She said that her and Juan would get married eventually. Here we go again. These people. Okay, let me tell you know what. The reason why I believe that they're not gonna get married, I don't think not Eddie, Juan wants to get married, and Robin, being Robin, she's a follower, she's not a leader. She's just going to accept that. As long as he's in her presence and, he comes home every night, I guess, she's happy with that. So if she never gets a date, never gets married, she doesn't care. As long as he's somehow in her life and he hasn't left her for someone else, she's okay with that. I think Robin wants to get married, but she's going to be very flippant about the whole marriage concept because she doesn't want to act like she really, really wants it. She wants to be cool about it because Juan is probably not. They probably will never get married, or if they get married, it's going to be under duress because they're going to be so sick and tired of people asking them, "When are you going to get married? When are you going to get married? When are you going to get married?" I just don't get it. I don't understand why they just couldn't stay the way they were. Just living together as a family, common law, whatever you want to call it. Just leave it at that. This whole thing, there's no need for them to get married. They have a life together. They've built a life together. They live together. They're raising these children together. There's no reason for them to. They've been down that marriage road before, and obviously it didn't work. So I don't understand what the problem is. Like, why go through the charade or charade of, yeah, we're going to get married one day eventually. It's going to happen sometime in this lifetime. If you don't want to get married, and it seems like neither, I don't even know. I don't even care. Let me move on. Okay, so then when they're talking about Karen, they talked about how Ray was so supportive of Karen, and, if it wasn't for Ray, she wouldn't have La Dawn perfume in Bloomingdale because he really pushed her to really get her product out there. Ray said that Karen didn't do enough for herself to push her product out, so he really helped her in getting the product out there and really advertising the product. And then Chris Bassett jumps in and says, how come when Ray supports Karen, it's applauded, but then when I support my wife, I get talked about? Well, because it's completely different. Okay, Ray is a man that has put a lot of work into his career, into his marriage. They've been together 20 years or something. He was the breadwinner for the majority of their marriage. So Now that he's retired, he has the time to help his wife. You, on the other hand, like why do you have so much time on your hand to help Candace's career? That's the question. Why do you have so much time on your hand? Why don't you have your own career? Why aren't your own hands full with your own career, and then you can hire a manager to help Candace? It's kind of like you've kind of put your own career aside or given up on your own thing so you can help Candace, and it just doesn't make any sense. If you have the ability to work and you want to work and there's work out there for you to do whatever you want to do, then do it, and then just hire a manager to help Candace. And so it kind of seems like you're not willing to do your own thing, to build your own empire, because you'd rather just answer emails for Candace, answer phone calls for Candace, because he said that Candace is working on her master's, and so she doesn't have time to do all of the day-to-day stuff of managing her career, so he does it for her. He even called himself a glorified secretary. And then nobody would really care with what you were doing and how you were doing it, because if it wasn't for the fact that early on Candace had put it out there that they were living in a house, the house that they were living in before now, that they were living in a house that her mother was paying for. So it made no sense, because most married couples are trying to be a little bit self-sufficient. So it made no sense that you were living in a home that your mother-in-law was paying for, paying the mortgage on. It wasn't like she bought the house and gave it to her. She was paying the mortgage on it. And so Chris said that he was not going to pay a mortgage in a home that Dorothy owned if he wasn't married to Candace. I have no idea what that means. That went completely above my head. I don't know what that means. If you were living there, you pay for the home that you're living in. You pay for the roof over your head. What is this stuff about? I'm not going to pay a mortgage until I'm married to Candace. I didn't get that at all. Then they talked about wedding rings. Juan, because I'm like putting together Robin and Juan. Juan and Michael both do not wear their wedding rings. Robin said that, for whatever reason, Juan just didn't wear a wedding ring. And it got to the point where he never wore it, so she sold it. Michael, according to Ashley, has some type of disorder, disease, or something, where his hand just won't allow him to put on a ring, because he's got some type of issue with his knuckles, and his knuckles are so big or so swollen that a wedding band won't fit. I'm just like, Ashley, how can you sit there on camera and say these ridiculous, absurd things? How can you? Why don't you just say, my husband doesn't wear jewelry. That's it. And we had agreed when we got married that he didn't have to wear his ring. He doesn't like it. He doesn't wear it, and I'm fine with that, and he's fine with that. Next question. That's all. Instead of going into detail about this so-called, I couldn't even understand the word that she was using, that she called, this disease of his. Like, I wanted to Google it, but I didn't even know what she was saying to even be able to spell it for me to Google it. But it's like, Ashley, do you not hear yourself? Do you not hear yourself? I bet you if Juan Dixon gave him a ring, he would wear it. He would suffer through all kinds of knuckle pain to wear that ring if Juan Dixon gave it to him. And I'm not throwing shade at all. I'm just calling it is what it is, okay? He has this attraction for Juan Dixon. Whatever. You're a married man, but whatever. And I just don't understand how Ashley can say the things that she says in defense of her husband. Like, you don't hear how ridiculous you sound. And Ashley, you're a pretty intelligent lady. You don't hear what you're saying. You don't understand how ridiculous you sound when oh God. So he has some type of disorder where he can't wear wedding bands. Okay. So then, yeah, that was embarrassing to watch. Well, thank God, after all of that craziness, your girl Nicki Minaj came out and she's about to take over. So she came out, she was looking, glamorous, beautiful, wonderful. And she was going to take over, I guess, the last part of the reunion, which is going to continue on next week. And she did not come to play. She is serious about her Real Housewives of Potomac. The first question out of her mouth, it was guns blazing. She said to Ashley, okay, so you had no storyline, and that's the reason why you're running around doing Giselle's bidding. You're running around doing whatever Giselle told you to do because you you had no storyline of your own. And it was so crazy that even Candace had to jump in and kind of like defend Ashley, because she told Nikki that, you know, in all fairness, she had just had a baby like 2 weeks before we started filming. So, you know, she had a lot going on in her own life. So that was just so crazy to me that Nikki was just like no holds barred. She don't care that she's a celebrity. She's not going to be gentle in any way. And that's exactly what we need. That's exactly what we want. And I hope that she really brings the fire in next week's episode. And on that note, thank you so much for joining me. Go ahead and give this video a like, subscribe if you want, and I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.